grandmother's portal to the Black Bull's hideout. Once they reached the door, Asta would open it to see a fireball heading towards his head. To not get hurt, he would use a mercury shield to block the attack. Yami would punch the wall yelling, "Stop breaking stuff," getting the Black Bull's attention. All of them would gather around Yami asking if they have any new recruits, as he would go on to introduce Asta and Yuno. Magna and Luck would say that they aren't a part of the Black Bulls until they take part in the baptism. Both Asta and Yuno would agree, and all the Black Bulls would go outside. In the physical portion of the baptism, both Asta and Yuno completed with ease. And in the fighting part of the baptism, Asta would go against Magna as in canon. Every fireball attack that Magna would throw at Asta, it would get blocked by a mercury shield. This would continue on for a while, but once Magna had enough of it, he sent his ultimate attack as he did in canon. Asta would use mercury creation magic equals protection, forming an eagle behind Asta, wrapping his wings around him, protecting him. This would amaze the Black Bulls, and Yami would declare the match over. Asta would hand Vanessa his kimono, which is the one in the picture, and she would put the Black Bull symbol in the middle of the two koi fish. For Yuno's fight with Luck, Luck would rush at Yuno. Yuno would dodge easily. And here, Luck isn't going all out because he may love to fight, but he's not finna go all out trying to injure or kill a new recruit because he know Yami would probably kill him. Luck would use Thunder God's boot to rush at Yuno, but Yuno would use wind magic, towering tornado. Luck would get caught, causing him to be thrown out of the arena. Yami would declare the match over, and Luck would start to complain on how he was just starting to have fun. Yuno would hand Vanessa his kimono, and she would put the Black Bull's emblem under the middle of the dragon. The Black Bulls would begin to celebrate the arrival of two new recruits. Unknowing to Asta and Yuno, someone with the same shade of silver in their hair was watching them and is quite confused and interested on these two. Later, Magna would show Asta and Yuno to their rooms, and they are right beside one another, along with another room on the end of the hall next to Asta's room, which he would ask about, and Magna would tell him that there is another recruit. And now that he thinks about it, the three of them look pretty similar. Asta and the girl looks relatively similar, and Yuno looks a little bit like her, like her. And in this what if, Noelle is a spitting image of Aesir as in canon, and for Yuno, he is a spitting image of their father, which hasn't been seen in canon. We don't know what's up with him, so he's a spitting image of him. I just want to make him that. And Asta looks like a mix of both Aesir and their father. But anyway, they both find this weird but brush it off. The next day, Magna is giving them a tour of the hideout and giving them lists of chores. While during the tour, they would run into Noelle. Asta sees her and walks up to her, extending a hand to introduce himself as Asta. Noelle knows that she has two little brothers, but she hasn't heard their names in such a long time due to the fact that it's a sensitive subject with their family. Noelle would slap his hand away, saying, "What gave you the right to touch me, you commoner?" This comment would anger Yuno, but he hid it, and Asta would look at her with a confused look, asking, "Why does that matter? We're both squad mates, so we should try to get along and get to know one another, right?" Noelle would retort, saying, "I'll never get to know any people that are below me," as she walks off infuriated, throwing her Black Bull's robe on the floor, saying that she quits. Magna would get angry at how easily she quit and how she disrespected the Black Bull's robe. Later on, Asta is wanting to explore outside of the Black Bull's hideout to find a good place to train when a water bubble almost hits him, but he dodges in time. He decides to find out what's happening, and he tracks the location where the water bubble came from. He would see Noelle struggling to hit a target. He would hide in a bush looking. He would watch Noelle struggle for around a minute or so, but stops when an anti-magic bird lands on his head, wrestling in some bushes. Getting Noelle's attention. She sees Asta watching her and begins to panic, not wanting to be looked down upon for not being able to control her magic. When suddenly her magic goes out of control, all the Black Bulls comes out to see Noelle struggling to breathe inside of her own out of control magic. Asta looks back and sees them running out and asks what to do. Yami would look at Asta and Yuno and saying one of them take care of it. Asta would use Mercury magic, Mercury prison, which surrounds Noelle in a hollow Mercury prison, which would allow Asta to pull her out safely and land her on the ground, stopping the out of control mana. Everyone would go up to her and the Black Bulls would say the same things they did as in canon. But for Asta, Asta is looking at her pendant and he would look towards Yuno asking if that pendant looked relatively familiar. He would say yes, and they asked Noelle where did she get that pendant from. She would say that her mother gave it to her after she was born along with her little brothers. The two would ask who are her little brothers, and she would say that she doesn't know and that they were presumed dead many years ago. He would ask what type of pendant did they have. She would say one had a blue pendant with a cross in the middle of it with 4 stars on each part of the cross, and the other one had a blue and gold rose. I didn't really know their names because it was a sensitive topic to my family and they haven't spoken about it in years. Both Asta and Yuno's eyes would widen after the description of the pendants, as they would both reach into their shirts and pull out a pendant that matched the description of what she said. They would both ask at the same time, "Are you talking about these pendants?" As Noelle, seeing these 2 pendants, her eyes would widen as she tries to stop herself from crying as she runs up and hugs the 2, tackling them on the ground. They would try to pull her off, but it never worked, and around 30 seconds of hugging, Noelle would pull off and tell the 2 that they need to go and talk to Noelle before she gets her hopes up high. They both agree, and Yuno would turn back looking at Finral asking if he could take them to the royal capital. He would agree. Then eventually they make it to the Silva family house and walk into Noelle's office. He would ask what did they want before looking up to see Noelle with Asta and Yuno. Noelle would say that she knows that it's a sensitive topic, but can he tell her their brothers' names again? Noelle would pause for a minute looking at Asta and Yuno, but would sigh saying their names were Yuno and Asta, and that she was the oldest, Yuno was the middle child, and Asta was the youngest. All 3 of them were shocked, but Noelle would turn hugging the 2 saying, "So it is true, you 2 are my little brothers." Noelle's eyes would widen as he looks at the 2 hugging back Noelle, and would ask if these 2 are really Yuno and Asta. They nod, showing him. Leaving Noelle's office, Asta and Yuno would fly on brooms, and Noelle would fly with Asta back to the Black Bulls' hideout. The Black Bulls would ask if they are really siblings, and they agree with nod their heads in confirmation. Around a week goes by of hanging out with Noelle, and the 2 are really getting to know her and like her. The 2 are very disappointed in their older siblings on how they treated Noelle for not being able to control her magic instead of helping her. Within the week, Asta and Yuno would train Noelle in mana control, swordsmanship, and also would help her train her body. Noelle would have the kimono and the thumbnail by now, along with Asa's sword, which is made from the leftover demon skull. Also, the 3 would train with Yami on imbuing mana into their swords. The trio would be walking around the hideout until they see Yami and Magna walking in with nothing but the robes to cover themselves. Asta would cover Noelle's eyes and ask what they are doing. Yami would ignore the question and say they have a mission. Later, Yami and Magna would explain their mission to kill boars near Saucy Village. They would accept the mission to much of Noelle's disliking, and the 3 along with Magna would set off to Saucy Village. They would arrive in half the time since everyone can fly with a broom, and once they arrive, they take out the boars with no difficulty and head down to Saucy Village. Upon arrival, they would notice thick fog, which Magnus says was never there. The group would follow behind Magnus since he knows his way around the village, and leads them to the middle where they see 3 mages fighting an old man who is protecting the villagers. Magna wastes no time in hitting the ice mage with a fireball and would tell the village chief to take a rest and that they will handle it from here on out. Noelle would walk to the villagers and say water creation magic, see Dragon's Lair, protecting them from any misfire, and also allowing Yuno, Asta, and Magna to go all out. The Ice Mage would ask why they're protecting them. They aren't any better than animals, which would infuriate the three. Magna would throw a fireball and Yuno would boost it with his wind magic. The Ice Mage would block the incoming attack, but would fail to see the Mercury slashes heading for his two subordinates, giving them decent sized gashes, knocking them out due to blood loss. The Ice Mage wouldn't get time to be shocked, as both Magna and Yuno would say compound magic, devil's breath, sending a huge flaming tornado towards him. He would try to put up a condensed layer of ice around him, but would fail once Asta uses Mercury binding magic, magnetic cuffs. Magnetic cuffs is a binding spell that if anyone is cuffed by Asta's Mercury, they are pulled towards Asta until they reach a 5 feet distance. Pulling him towards Asta, he is met with a slice down the chest, knocking him out due to blood loss. Later, the villagers would thank the group for protecting them, and they were about to leave, but an anti-magic bird flies to Asta, giving him a gem. He would look at the village chief, asking what it is, and the village chief would say that it is his lucky charm, and Asta would go to return it, but he would say, keep it as a thank you gift. The group would return the Ice Mage to the capital and explain their mission, and also they would receive 5 stars from